I don't know what to do. All this talk about AI and robots taking over, it's too much. No, they're right. I just need to do it. Forgive me. They say all dogs go to heaven. Are you sure all of them? Ayo, robots. We mostly fear them. Every day I feel like there's something new going on with robots, whether it's Elon Musk continuously promising autonomous robots each year, or Boston Dynamics creating a robot dog that would leave me shitting my pants if it was chasing after me. He can never beat this guy though. Or Kai Cenat getting a robot and bullying it. Twice. To two separate robots. Do you think the robot could somehow store that memory and save it up into a cloud so that when Skynet becomes a thing, it could just remember that and go after the people who wronged it? Nah, probably not. And it makes me want to talk about one of the first memories I have of robots. A little old film called... No, not that one. The kids one. Yeah. Robots. The greatest piece of cinema that came out in 2005. I don't know what else came out that year. Robots is what I imagine Elon Musk's end goal is. A world full of autonomous robots with every range of emotion, living life, experiencing the great and horrid things that we have to deal with on our day-to-day basis. Oh yeah, there's no humans, by the way. And all those robots are voiced by celebrities. Seriously, the casting director on this went fucking nuts. I mean, I'm talking Halle Berry, Mel Brooks, Amanda Bynes, Robin Williams, Obi-Wan?
Hello there.
Jesus Christ, they got everyone for this. Okay, so killer cast, but what are the reviews looking like? No. Oh, okay. At least it's consistent. But they were able to get 3 exclamation points out of Larry King. I didn't even know he was able to show that much excitement.
Of all the things I've done in this business, Greg, this is really the weirdest.
But we could talk about cast and reviews all day like I'm some sort of yap bot. Or I can go and give my own review. Which I guess requires me to still yap. Oh, bite. We open to a reminder of Jack Dorsey's struggling platform. No relation, but quick side note, the social platform Blue Sky officially launched in 2021, and Disney shut down this Blue Sky in 2021, so little suspicious. But it's under that blue sky we have a bustling city of robots, with adults traversing, children playing, and this guy, who's surprised he got a flat top at a place called Flathead Floyd's. But it's right next to that barbershop we meet our first character, Herb. And Herb's just been told he's gonna be a dad. Congrats, Herb. And as any soon-to-be dad does, he disrupts traffic, gives out stogies to unsuspecting civilians, and showcases his newly gained dad powers. Okay, I think we can all agree Herb is happier than Nick Cannon finding out he's having another kid. I don't think any human has ever been this happy over a childbirth. I mean, he's bouncing off the benches, running off into the sunset. Also, the Rusty Nail sounds like a default name you'd use for a pub in D&D. Herb finally arrives home to find his baby has already been delivered. But lucky for him, it works backwards in these
Making
poses.
the baby's the fun part.
Is this sexual? They did say it was coitus, right? They said baby making. It doesn't seem so. Oh, is that? Oh, I'm out. But now exists our main protagonist, Rodney Copperbottom. Ugly ass robot, to be honest. Looks too human. I would have made those eyes RGB at least.
That extra piece?
Oh no, we did want a boy, right?
Okay, ignoring whatever genital mutilation just happened there, they do have parts, but what are they for if this is the baby making? I think I'm asking too many questions. Robot babies are cool though, they come apart, you can modify them, and if they're too loud, you can just turn them down. Parenting made easy. It's in this next scene we start understanding the financial situation that our robots are in. As Rodney gets his big boy parts, whatever that means, he notices they look worn and notes how they aren't shiny. Ma and Pa, enabling Concern Protocol 4, try to soothe Rodney by labeling the parts as hand-me-downs and will only have to be worn for a year. I guess the parts are like transplant organs for us, except they can just go to their cousin and they don't have to go to some shady guy on the side of the street if they can't afford it, which seems pretty nice. Rodney fits up, and him and Herb are on their way to the center of town where a parade is taking place. It's here Rodney learns of Bigweld, the greatest robot in the world. A robot who spends his time making other robots' lives easier by providing parts and inventions to all of them for a low cost. Bigweld is who we all wish was in charge of our healthcare system. Yeah, he's a billionaire and he has a TV show, but he's cool and provides cheap parts for all the robots. Oh, and Herb's a dishwasher, but Rodney loves that, and it's honestly a pretty hard job, so good job, Herb. Speaking of Big World TV, we learned from it that the gates to his company stay open for new inventors to wander in and give their ideas to the big man himself, which for one seems like a terrible safety concern when you're a big company like that. I mean, you're bound to get nut jobs just wandering in. And two, what's the split like if you actually make my invention? Is it like Shark Tank? Are you going to invest in me, or are you just going to up and steal my product? I'm going to need more information before I decide to head to Robot City. But Rodney doesn't, and the show leaves him onto a path of mechanics and inventing his own creations. He even graduates high school and ends up working at the restaurant with his father, where he finally shows his ailing father the invention he created to help him work. And would you look at the thing go? It's good! Hey, Mr. Bossman, get a load of oh, no, you're scaring it. Oh, God, why would you program anxiety into a creature? Oh, no, oh, God. Yeah, for some reason, Rodney programs this thing to have higher fear levels than Eduardo and Foster's. As soon as a higher-up yells at it, the thing just becomes an aviation hazard. So Rodney gets fired, and for some reason, this is the push he needs to go to Robot City and show his invention to Big World. I thought that was like the main goal in general, but I guess it took unemployment to get his mind straight. Mom and Dad come saying, Rodney come home, yada yada. Dad gives us an emotional speech saying he had a dream playing music but became a dishwasher. Bad job, Herb, bad job. You should never give up. But he sends Rodney on his way, disobeying his wife's request. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna slide over well on the drive home. But you know, Robot City's not too different than a city like we have. In fact, as soon as Rodney gets off the train, he's instantly met with a grifter trying to swindle a buck out of him, who's also the newest character in our crew, Fender. No relation to Bender, I checked. And Fender's pal Diesel, who does not have a voice box. I don't think it was ever explained why he doesn't have a voice box. Maybe it was a manufacturing issue, or maybe a fight on the street and he got it whipped out. Who's to say? But like any tourist would, Rodney runs away from them, and he heads towards whatever way he thinks Big World Industry is. But in a city, you're never far away from what you run from. So the public transport in Robot City is not great. It's just a giant game of marbles that they get put in. I truly hope that the taxpayers' dollars didn't go to this, because this is not a viable means of transportation. But after that awful taxi alternative, Rodney's made his way to the gates. But they're closed. And the puppet's being a huge dick. What the hell's going on here? Up in the giant Big World face, we come to meet our protagonist, Phineas T. Ratchet, a more accurate take on the modern-day CEO. C. Ratchet here thinks that profits matter more than the customer's happiness, something us humans know all too well. And he's just told the board team that they're no longer going to be selling spare parts to aging robots, and instead will be only offering upgrades. And if you're wondering why Big World isn't in charge, keep wondering. They do not explain it. I'm guessing he stepped down. Maybe robots need to retire too. Meanwhile, Rodney hasn't given up on getting in to show off his invention. In fact, he's showcasing its talents in the process. And after an unlawful entry followed by movements any CEO would think is an assassination attempt, him and his gadget are booted out fairly shortly. Look, I get where he's coming from, and I do side with Rodney. It's just his way of going about things isn't gonna work. He did break in, and he also shoved a foreign object into the neck of the CEO. Anyone's gonna take that as a threat. Well, with Rodney looking like a clown, it's time to look under the underbelly of the city. Down beneath the streets lives a chop shop, taking old decaying bots and smashes, melts them, and turns them into upgrades, being shelled out on the grounds above. With all of it under the supervision of Madame Gasket. Oh God, that is a face only a mother could love. Speaking of mothers, that's Ratchet's mom. Yeah, I guess the lug nut doesn't fall far from the tree of evil. Also, how is this legal? The families don't care about a burial? That thing that we saw earlier just roams the streets looking for injured robots and sweeps them up, bringing them down here. Nobody wonders where they go, or is everybody just cool with this? Rodney ends back up with Fender and almost immediately causes a ruckus and ends up decapitating Fender. Classic bromance story. This is how all guys become friends. Oh, and Fender's other friends are here. I'm gonna run through their names real quick. The vacuum's Cranky, the trash can's Lugnut, and the one in the trash can's Piper, Fender's sister. Oh, and what's that, you ask? What happened to her and Fender's parents? They do not explain that either. I don't know what to tell you. But the gang needs to fix up Fender, so they head to Jackhammer, the shopkeep. Only Jackhammer here seems to already made an alliance to Ratchet, because apparently he only has upgrades. Oh, come on. There's no shot he wasn't paid off already, right? The company Big World just stopped selling parts what I assume is a couple hours ago, and he already doesn't have anything in stock. Either he's really bad at inventory management or he's already in the pockets of Ratchet. Also, Diesel does this.
The Force is strong with this one.
And you may think quick Star Wars nod, no. Okay, this Star Wars connection has layers. Only like one more, but still. So Rodney is voiced by Ewan McGregor. Okay, but when this came out in theaters, it was actually the first film to screen previews of Star Wars Episode 3, which actually brought in more butts and seats from Star Wars fans. Some showing up apparently just to hear Ewan McGregor's voice. But with Jack being able to do shit, Rodney steps up from the back, asking for basic everyday items to fix Fender up. And like a true engineer, he bada bing bada boom, recapitated. And this would be all touching and a sweet moment, right? Except immediately after, the sweeper thing comes around and Fender here jumps in front of it, shaking his thing, and then of course his thing breaks, so they gotta run off into the sunset. It's kind of beautiful, but still. They run till the sun has settled into the safe haven called
The Aunt Fanny 40.
whatever the fuck he said. But it's ran by a lady called Aunt Fanny. Why she called Aunt Fanny?
Couldn't call her Aunt Booty.
As Rodney prepares for the night, he's reminded of the reason he's here. His family. And nothing else happens. Nothing at all. Don't worry about it. And after they drink their coffee or take a shower, I don't know what that is, Rodney notices a commotion outside, and the crew heads to investigate. We're soon to learn everyone needs parts, but old Mr. Hammer only got upgrades. And those just won't do. Lucky for them though, Mr. Hammer can throw Rodney under the bus. Everyone rushes over to him, begging for a fixer-upper. One even dies in the streets, which does not faze anyone, and they suggest stripping his parts for themselves. So to avoid what I'd consider cannibalism, Rodney gets to work, fixing up whoever comes his way. Does this certify Rodney as a surgeon? I mean, this looks like open heart surgery here. Oh, screw surgeon, dude's a necromancer. He revived the guy who died earlier. Meanwhile, while Rodney's saving lives, our dastardly CEO looks to be preparing for a settlement with his masseuse. But what's worse than a lawsuit? Mom walking in. So yeah, they find out Rodney's been fixing up all the robots, ruining their plans on upgrades, and as any CEO would, they plan to take down the little guy. Would you look at that? It's mail time. And Rodney here's got a letter from back home. What's it say, Fender?
Is anything wrong?
His father's got one foot in the junkyard, and if they can't find new parts for him, he's only got a few miles left.
Okay, this part killed me like Age doing his dad. From now on, I want all of my news delivered to me in a Robin Williams impersonation. I think it'll make it a lot easier to digest. Well, kid, looks like the roller coaster operator quit. If we don't put a new hiring ad out soon, your highs and lows are over.
What?
You're dying.
Oh.
But the thought of his father ailing away and not enough parts to save him weighs on him. He knows the only way to get more parts into the system is to get Big World back in charge. Luckily, Big World's balls tonight. Okay, a couple of things. I feel like Rodney's intentions are great, but it seems like it always takes him till the worst possible outcome has happened until he takes the next steps and does anything. Like, I thought the plan was always take down the big guy and get the parts back into the system. What were we doing? Like, if his dad somehow got parts back home and was fine, would Rodney just give up here? Like, would any of this matter? Also, how long has he been in this town? Because he's fixed up like everybody. He resurrected that one guy. That's gotta take time. I mean, I feel like he's really delaying in his taking of action here. But take action he does, by impersonating a royal official to get into the ball. Fender even gets to legally slap the puppet. Things are looking up. Ratchet makes questionable moves on his employee, Cappy. How the hell did Ratchet even get picked as CEO? Like, I understand that profits are up when he's in charge, but nobody thought that this guy's kind of weird and maybe even a little predatory? Are we sure we want to put him in a place of more power? Actually, what am I saying? That's the most realistic thing in this movie. Ratchet takes the stage, announcing Big World won't even be coming to his own ball. A lazy bum. But Rodney doesn't wait a second, yelling at him instantly, throwing out accusations that they're holding Big Weld hostage. Again, great efforts from Rodney, but it just comes out looking loony. Especially when he admits to everybody that he's impersonating, and the crowd he's saying it to at an invite-only party, I'm sure it's just rich guppies who don't care. While Ratchet demands Rodney is escorted out, Cappy from earlier sides with Rodney and tries to double-cross. Great work, Cappy. With you on our team, it should okay. You guys are real shit at stealth missions. This is unbelievable. That wasn't even a minute. But the team escapes and Cappy sets off with Rodney to take him to the train station to get away from the danger. But then Rodney says one impactful thing and Chief Folge just takes him straight to Big Weld. Rodney successfully breaks into Weldo's house, and yeah, it's a cool lab, but I've seen better from a much younger inventor. Oh yeah, no, go ahead, mess with stuff that's not yours, that's cool. Fun fact. A special rendering tool was created specifically to randomly place the pips on every domino in Big Weld's workshop. A pip is a dot on a domino. Oh no, you didn't notice the giant skyscraper-sized dominoes behind you? Oh yeah, okay. Anyways, look who it is, Big Man Weld himself, just being a regular old surfer boy. Seems perfectly fine to me, maybe a little loony. Rodney tries to get Big Weld to come back to the people, and also invest, I think, but Big Weld ain't having it, explaining how he's given that all up since Ratchet beat him. Is this when we finally get a reason on why Big Weld gave up the company? Nope. Psych! It's a 90-minute movie and it's almost over. They don't got that much time for explanation. But he screams Rodney out of his house, telling him to go home, kid, crushing his dreams. What a dick. Well, Rodney's given up. He came all this way and it was practically useless. Honestly, soul-crushing, if anything. I wonder how Fender's doing. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Fender's performing a rendition of Singing in the Rain, which will probably get me striked. But little does he know one of those sweepers is close on his tail, and finally seeks its revenge. It may look like Fender's a goner here, especially with their legs cut off, but they pull out their inner Mrs. Doubtfire and scurry out. Things are looking up. So Rodney's at the station, gives his parents one last call before he heads home, only to hear that his dad's doing worse. God, a lot of downers going on right now. What could fix this? Aunt Fanny? The whole crew? Fender? With the Big Weld? And he wants to help out now with no further explanation. So yeah, literally everybody shows up at the train station, including Big Weld, who now wants to help everybody fight and get his company back, after being gone from it for several years. If it were me, I wouldn't trust him. I think he's got shady intentions, okay? I don't care what this article says saying he's pure good. I don't believe it. I think he's got something up his sleeve. But nonetheless, hostile takeover time. Oh, okay. That didn't work. So we're gonna have to try an even hostiler takeover. You know, I think I learned less about robots the longer this movie goes on. But just as soon as the dopamine hits our Mega Evolve team, they come to realize they're outnumbered. Aw, shucks. If only there was what? What's that at the... Oh my god! We told you to stay back at the bait. What are you doing? Okay, whatever. Start the revolution. During the fight, we see the next evolution of Rock'em Sock'em robots. Fender does another performance that would probably get me striked, but uses his newfound body to distract the opposing robots. They also kill the evil robot lady, which is, yeah, good, but that is Ratchet's mom, so they did kill a mother. I just want everyone to keep that in mind. Are they really heroes? Hell, the town thinks so, so who am I to disagree? And after going on the, I assume, Big Weld press tour, they finally head back to Rivet Town, where even Rodney's dad is feeling inspired and quits his job at the cafe. He probably realized he'll never have to work again with his son sponsored by Big Weld. And with a sponsorship like that secured, the town celebrates with more music that'll get me striked. Sorry, I didn't see you there. Well, now that sure was a great film, wasn't it? for real though, I really enjoy the animation. I think for a 2005 film, even in 2025, that shit still stands up. I think the animation still holds up even 20 years later. Blue Sky was doing some phenomenal shit back then. Story's good, it does have that kid feel where it skips around, but fun fact, the creator actually did say that there is a director's cut of this film, and seeing as I'm filming this 2 weeks away from the 20th anniversary of the movie's release, hopefully we see something from that. But for me, that's my time. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Cox Labs, and I gotta get back to prepping for when the robots take over, so I'll be down here if you need me. See you on the next one.